Hi, I'm Paul Brodie. We're back in the shop. We've been away for a little while. Mitch had to go somewhere, but he's back now. And in that time, we have missed our anniversary. April 4th is our anniversary. 6 years of doing YouTube. 6 years. So thank you for all the support. And today we're going to fix a Rocky Mountain frame. You can see here it's got a broken seat tube. On this particular frame, it's a two-piece seat tube. This is called the seat tube extension. It's 6 inches long. And this seat tube, one like this, it goes inside maybe 1/4 of an inch. So what I have to do is to take off the paint here and here, and then I'm going to bead blast it a little bit. I'm going to tic-tac this here because I have to heat it up and pull it out. So after it's tic-tac, I'm going to take a hacksaw and I'm going to cut off this section here so that I can work on this and pull it down. I should really have an extra torch that I don't have, because it'd be good to have a torch on one side and a torch on the other side, because otherwise it's hard to heat it up and get it hot enough and pull it out. But we'll see what happens. So this is a Rocky Mountain Thunderbolt. I used to make them years ago when I was at Rocky. This is made by Bill Bailey, who is Derek Bailey. There's a little hand-built thing. Can you read that? And it says Bill B. And when I started at Rocky in '84, he was the frame builder there. And the first thing he said to me is, "I'm not going to show you anything." That's how we got our start. And he hated mountain bikes. He liked road bikes. He liked track bikes. So I think he made this because Rocky asked him to, and there was a paycheck at the end of the day. So I wanted to show you a few of the differences. I've got a frame of mine. This is much later, but I used to make the same sort of frames. And one of the things you can see right away is the pinch lug is on the back. I always like to have the pinch lug on the front, because if you ride without fenders and it's raining or wet, you get stuff going down the seat tube. So that is one difference. Another difference is how the bend of the seat stays is. Can you see here how the bend is way up here? And on the frames that I like to make, I bend it right down here, because where the bend is at the widest point of the tire. So we have different ways of doing things. Also, one thing I noticed is that how the seat stays meet the dropouts. Can you see how there's like a little hump there? And I don't like that. I mean, you know, it works fine, I'm sure, but I like lines in frames, and I like the line to come down and then it curves for the dropout. Don't want to bump there. So to give you a comparison, can you see how this, it's straight and then it curves. There's no bump here. And what I do on the seat stays is I neck them down so it's in the middle. That's what I like. And what Bill did, Bill Bailey, he had them offset a bit. I guess it matches how the chain stays meet, but don't like that. And there's lots of room there for the sprockets and the chain and everything. So you don't have to get it that far out on a seat stay. So that's some of the differences between one of the frames that I was building and a Bill Bailey frame. There's one last thing, how the seat stays are joined into the seat tube. He's got it so that it just kind of blends in. And what I I did for a long time is I made it. Let me get my pen. There we go. I would have the seat stays a little wider when I was doing the mitering with the hole saw. And so see how this is higher than the seat tube? And then I would grind it on the belt sander so I end up with kind of a three straight sections. Can you see, like 1, 2, 3? And then I would fill that in with nickel silver, so it's raised up a little bit. It's just I think it looks a little better than this, but it's personal preference. Every frame builder does their own thing, gets their own style. I just wanted to point out a few of the details. Thanks for joining us. I'm going to light the torch, and we're going to take off some paint, and then go to the bead blaster. Okay, so why did that happen? I'm not sure. Maybe this was overheated, but I don't know. I'm not looking to cast any blame. Sometimes, if the bike's ridden hard, things like that can happen. Okay, let's try and take out the tube then. So I'm going to cut about 1 inch out of here, and then we can take off this tube and take off that tube, hopefully. So we'll see what happens. I just noticed this after the bead blasting. Can you see right there? He's got rusted out chain stays. See the hole? So it can be fixed. You can dimple it down with a center punch and braze over it, and it's in between the bottom bracket and the bridge tube, so it's not a high stressed area, and it is an old frame, so these things happen. Okay, so I put some flux on here, help to protect the metal a little bit, and we'll see what happens. So I need a fairly hot flame because that section of the upper tube has to get red hot. So I've got a bit of a hiss on the torch. Shows that I've got some heat going in there. Yeah, it's the weld that broke. Yeah, okay. So that didn't work. I have to grind it out or something. Okay. Did not work. Bummer. Yeah, doing frame repairs is not always an easy job because you don't know what's going to happen. Like on the last frame I did where I changed the down tube, I had no idea that an SUV had run over the frame of the bike. I had no idea. So what I'm doing here is I'm melting the fillet braze, and it's just gonna fall on the floor. Get the braze really hot and it just melts and dribbles down. So I heat up the bronze and then I can just brush it. So look at that. Okay, so now I can heat it up a bit more and I can just brush it. Okay, I think that's pretty good. We'll let it cool down, and then I got to figure out the top of the seat tube. See how far it goes in. I used to do them for 1/4 of an inch. And this one is 5/16, so it went in farther than I thought. All right, we're going to work on the seat tube now. I have a seat tube that I found upstairs. So it's going to be 9.6, 0.9 millimeters, 0.6 millimeters. And this got used on, I don't know, looked like it got mitered here. Well, it is mitered. So we're going to use the butt detector and figure out where the butt is. So this will go into the vise here. See the dial? It's going to tell, well, it should tell. Well, okay, so this is the thin section, I'm pretty sure. This is the thick section. But I'll measure it, and then we'll know for sure. There you go. See it moving? Well, I think there's dirt inside the tube, so not getting a conclusive. There we go. Okay, so see how it moves there? And so the butt is somewhere around here. So I need to leave as much on here as possible. And we'll actually measure. I've got a ball mic. Okay, this is a ball mic. And can you see the anvils? Can you see how this anvil has a radius on it and this one is flat? Most mics have two flat anvils. So the reason that this one has a curve to it, because it goes inside the tube, and then it'll actually give you a good reading. So this is metric here. It's a Mitutoyo. It's very nice. So down here, it's 0.65 of a millimeter. I've got I don't know if you can see, there's one line there. So that puts it up to 0.5 millimeter. So it's 0.65 at this end. And this end here is going to be the thicker end. and it's 0.97 millimeters. See, it's almost at 1 millimeter. So this is the thick end. We need to leave that as much as we can. I've had that a long time. And so what we need to do is to miter this. It's going to get squashed. We're going to squash it in the arbor press. And then we're going to go over to the mill. We're going to use 1.5" hole saw because the bottom bracket is 1.5", and we'll miter it. And then we'll cut the top. And we'll cut the top, and then I'll have a piece of tube left over. That's the tube I'm going to see if it fits up into the seat tube extension. So let's go over to the mill, and well, no, we're going to squash this first. So arbor press. I got 2 plates. They're 1/2 inch cold rolled. And because of where this is located, it's going to squash the end. I don't want to squash it a whole lot, but I want to make it oval. Can you see that? There, we got ovalization. So now we'll go to the mill, and we'll miter that. Let's see how far it goes in. Make a felt pen mark. There we go. It goes in quite a ways. So now we have to make the tube the right length. This has to be pulled apart so that it can go in. So we'll work on that. Okay, I can braze over top of that. So we'll make the seat tube the right length. We'll cut the 2 holes, or we'll drill the 2 holes for the water bottle bosses, and then we'll do some brazing. This has been a lot of work. So the nickel silver can bite into something. All right, let's go back to the bench. And we got to pull the frame apart a little bit. We'll see how that works out. Yeah, this is going to work fine. Okay. So I got to center the tube now. Not bad. So it's about 650 a side. And I can put marks with a felt pen. Okay. That's how I find the center. And let's see what happens when I lower this down. Oh yeah, Did you see that? It went down. Okay, so. Okay, it's coming together slowly. There's one right in the middle. A lot of heat going into this fillet, but good. So you can see how much bronze went into it. I started with a 36-inch rod, full size. That's all that's left, just going around the seat tube. So thank you for watching. That was a lot of work, more than I anticipated. So what's left now is to ream the seat tube, do the water bottle braze-ons, smooth out the fillet brazing. Did I say ream the seat tube? Anyway, it's face and chase, and then align the whole frame. So there's still a bunch of stuff that has to happen. Thanks again for watching. Mitch and I like coffees. You know that. If you buy us coffees, it really does help our channel. Please like, subscribe, tell your friends, and we'll see you next time.